Guys, and welcome back. Today we're gonna speak about the Mercosur agreement. So let's discuss it. First of all, what is Mercosur or officially EU Mercosur agreement? It was finalized in the period of 2024-2026 and it's meant to significantly liberalize the food trade between the two blocs, increasing market access for South American agricultural products, beef, poultry, sugar, rice, whatever, while reducing tariffs for EU food exports like wine, spirits, special cheese, whatever the EU can still export nowadays. Not a lot. And this deal establishes some new quotas, protects EU geographical indications, and enforcing stringent food safety standards, so they say, to ensure a competitive yet balanced market. So this is what they say. So if we look on this article, it basically explains how EU Mercosur trade agreement will help us all, and definitely this is what they want to promote. So it's something that will make our lives easier here in the EU. But what is behind this? As we all know, food prices became increasingly more expensive in the past years. So if we check food prices, um, even though let's say the rate of increase has slowed in maybe the past year or two, the total cost of food remains very high. So by the end of 2025, last year, where we have the data and statistics, the overall food price levels were roughly 26 to 30% higher than they were in the pre-pandemic period of 2020. So we're speaking about one quarter, 25%, 26% to 30% higher. And that's only the official data. So that's one key drive behind Mercosur. Basically, if you look at the happy rich people holding hands, um, the system in EU thought about okay, we're driving food prices higher and higher. We are stressing the farmers and um, yeah, agricultural companies in EU with uh, bigger and bigger restrictions and bureaucracy requests. So basically discouraging them from producing food, concentrating the supply more and more into the hands of a few major food suppliers. And that smells a bit of oligarchy or cartel. So of course, the top leaders, even if we mention then von der Biach or the others, um, they don't care about that, right? It's not like they really see the increase in grocery prices, so they care about it. Their salary and bonuses have a lot of zeros behind them, so they don't care one bit. But for the average people, let's see how the food prices behaved. So only in 2025, food prices in EU, according to the official narrative, increased by an average of 3%. And while this is a significant slowdown from the record peaks in 2023, which reached nearly 19%, so 19% food cost increase in a single year, still food inflation remains a concern, as prices are stabilizing at a much higher level than in previous years. So if we speak about the key trends in 2025, and if we look at specific categories, some items saw much higher increases than the average. So if we talk about the prices for fresh vegetable, they rose by approximately 6%. Fresh fruits about about 5.5%, and poultry by 4.5%. And then you have regional differences depending on that EU country capability to produce internally food and how much they rely on imports. So, for example, countries like Romania continue to experience higher food inflation, often exceeding 7% during the latter half of the year because they import quite a lot. And the driving factors behind this, the price hikes were largely driven by extreme weather events affecting harvest, global spike in soft commodities, which saw dramatic price surges in early 2025. So, if you get the systems representative to talk about it, they will always mention that it was drought, maybe not enough rain, climate conditions, so all kind of silly reasons why the food prices go higher and higher. But they never mention their own bureaucratic barriers and restrictions that are suffocating the local producers. And funny enough, these don't apply to Mercosur. So recently in Greece, one of the shipments coming from Brazil with chicken, with poultry, was found to be contaminated by salmonella. So all that talk from the uh, Van der Beek and her acolytes about, okay, we'll do some great and proper testing and such and import a great quality of products for our EU citizens seems like bogus. It's all about, let's face it, getting cheaper food. So if we think of the current status as early 2026, according to Eurostat, the annual inflation rate for food, alcohol, tobacco in the Eurozone was estimated about 2.5% based on the data for March. Then if we look further, so for example, if we make a comparison between the EU and the Mercosur countries, and when I mention Mercosur, I basically say Brazil, Argentina, Uruguay, and Paraguay. This comparison highlights a very sharp contrast in production costs and price trend. And the particularity, for example, is the beef sector, which is, let's say, more common and probably less regulated in South America. So on the beef price comparison, because yeah, most of us would enjoy a good hamburger, right? The EU prices as of late March 2026, the average EU price for beef carcasses was approximately 7.2 euro per kilogram, which is close to a 13% increase over the previous year. Yeah, so 30% increase in the price of beef. In contrast, the cattle purchase prices in Brazil, let's say, are often more than twice as low as the EU average. So, of the early 2026 prices in the region typically range from $4 to $5, with Brazil being generally the most competitive. So it's a huge difference. So why? Yeah, there are some reasons why you can't maybe lower the prices in EU to the same level as South America because you need to pay higher wages, of course, and maybe yeah, European workers won't accept the cost of living that maybe South Americans do. And there are, like I said, all kind of bureaucratic restrictions. But the main problem behind this Mercosur agreement is prices are getting higher and higher. The cost of living is crushing the young people everywhere in the EU. So the elites, the systems representative, need to find some solutions, and these solutions are obviously less guaranteed in quality, or maybe even in safety, but at least they will provide some cheaper food. So let me know what your opinion is on the matter, guys. And if you are new here on the channel, please subscribe. It helps me a lot, and I'll keep discussing over interesting topics. Thank you.